Okay, this is for Nessiesearcher, or who was also named Monster Fan. So he wanted to know, when you travel, where do you stay? Do you go to hotels? Do you stay at friends' house? How is the prices getting on the Amtrak? That's basically just curious how what's going on with that.
My expenses have gone up 30% over the past year. I I travel on a train, so I very rarely use hotels. Um, there's um, I used to have a standard migratory route, which I violate sometimes because of my injury and expenses. My travel kind of changed a lot over the past year. For instance, I left here. Uh, I left Baltimore on the last day of September. I took a train that only cost me $25, best deal in the world, Saturday morning, to go up to New Jersey. I stayed there for a week. I accompanied that man to Pittsburgh in his car because he had a business meeting here, and I have friends here in Pittsburgh. And when I'm in Pittsburgh, I stay with my childhood friend Rick, and this is his place right here. And then I will take a couple of days by train to get to San Jose, California. There's a place I like to stay by myself for a few days there next to a used bookstore to work on finishing up and starting fiction. And from after spending a few days there, I ended up, oh, on the way to San Jose, I spent 5 days with the Johnsons in Utah, up in the Uinta Mountains. I used to spend 2 months a year there helping them with their agricultural work, but I was all busted up and I felt worthless, so I only spent 5 days. I usually like to spend a month or two at the end of the summer, early fall, with the Johnsons and the Rockies. After I leave San Jose, I went up to Portland. I got there on Halloween. My Eskimo wife was waiting for me at the train station. I spent a month with her, then went back down to San Jose for a few days, spent another 3 weeks with her after I went back up to Portland. Then I spent a month in the Cascades in Washington in the area of Mount Rainier. I used to spend 2 months there doing logging, wood cutting, ditching. I can't do that anymore, so I was just a card playing buddy, and I cleaned the house for the lady of the house. Then I took the train back down to Portland. I spent 7 more weeks with my Eskimo wife. Then I went to San Jose, spent a few days there. It took me like 5 days to get across the country, but because of rail delays, but Amtrak put me up in hotels. That cost nothing. And then I ended up here on the first morning of April. And I usually spend 2 weeks at Pittsburgh decompressing from the West before I go back into Bantuistan, Maryland. This young man will be dropping me off there sometime, in a few days to a week. And I plan on spending time in Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, New Jersey, and Illinois before going back to the Pacific Northwest midsummer, and then swing down through California. There's an Australian writer that I would like to meet that's going to visit in California in July. And then I plan on spending a month with the Johnsons, hopefully picking rose hips and elderberries by the side of the road, and making elderberry wine, and then head back here. So I mostly stay with friends. I sleep on couches. I stay with families. Um, uh, some of them were readers that I met, like the Johnsons. The people I stay with in Washington, they're not even readers. They are friends of readers who just kind of like adopted me as a weird stray human. I sometimes stay with fighters, like guys that I coach. So I'm sometimes lucky enough to stay places where they have guest rooms. Punky and Rick have a guest room that I stay in. The Sopranos have a guest room that I stay in. Sometimes it's a couch. So I cannot afford very much hotel business. When I'm in California, I stay at a hostel that's for men. That's got your own separate room, but you're not allowed to have guests. You're not allowed to have parties. It's just for guys that are like doing construction and.
It's like a flop house.
It's very nice. It's run by this nice old Hindu man who's he thinks I'm in the security business. He said, any of you security friends, you tell them, good deal, right? Good
Probably
deal.
thinks you're a
It's
Sikh
yes,
or something.
yes, sir. And then actually there was I ended up getting picked up by the train station just by happenstance by some very well put together young lady who was carrying my rucksack and he saw her out the window when I was signing up, and he points at the sign like no guests, and I said, well, my nurse might be here for a couple hours, but it's just like a medical visit. And he pulls down his glasses. He says, you nurse. You nurse loud? No, you're not smoke. No, he's like, no, it's good.
Oh, you met the cool Indian guy. Oh no, they're great people. Oh.
Okay, so they're nice to me. Okay, so that's kind of it.
So that's just a sample of how I travel, right?
Okay,
Like there's a lot of people. I don't even want to call him. He's not a homeless. He's a hobo, and he gives wisdom. He's a lovable hobo, like in the movies, giving wisdom and uplifting people's lives, like an angel. Touched by.
We'll do a separate one on what it's like living in Baltimore.
Oh, come on.
Because I'm also transient there.
Yeah, he's going to hell next.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
All right, so that could be a separate one. It won't be